I came home from work to find my son Ethan sitting on the floor of his room, crying, his violin case open, empty. "Mom, it's gone. The violin is gone." My blood went cold. Not just any violin, a 1742 Carlo Bergonzi, worth $120,000, on loan from the Boston Museum of Fine Arts for Ethan's upcoming performance at Carnegie Hall. "What do you mean, gone?" "Aunt Vanessa was here. She asked to see it. I showed her. Then she said she had to make a phone call. When I came back from the bathroom, she was gone. And the violin was gone." I pulled out my phone, called my sister Vanessa. It went straight to voicemail. Then I got a text. From her. One line. "Sold the violin. Got $95,000. Finally have enough for the wedding. Thanks for the loan." She thought it was my violin. Thought she could just take it and sell it. Had no idea it was on loan from one of the most prestigious museums in the country. Had no idea she'd just committed grand larceny. Had no idea that in 3 days the museum would want it back for their annual gala. And had no idea what I was about to do to get it back. If you've ever had a family member steal something irreplaceable from your child, stay with me until the end. Your support means everything to me. Hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. Has anyone ever taken something precious without permission? Let's talk about it. Now back to my story. Let me explain how we got the violin in the first place. 6 months before this nightmare. January 2024. My name is Claire Donovan. I'm 38 years old, living in Boston, Massachusetts, working as a nurse at Massachusetts General Hospital, making $78,000 a year. Single mom to my 16-year-old son, Ethan. Ethan is a violin prodigy, started playing at age 4. By age 10, he was winning state competitions. By age 14, national competitions. At 16, he'd been accepted to Juilliard's pre-college program, was being courted by major symphony orchestras, had a future most musicians only dream of. But we didn't have money. I'm a single mom. My ex-husband left when Ethan was 2, sends minimal child support. Everything I make goes to rent, bills, and Ethan's music education. Lessons, sheet music, travel to competitions. His violin was decent, a $15,000 instrument we'd scraped together money to buy when he was 12. But for the level he was performing at now, he needed something better, much better. Professional-grade instruments start at $50,000 and go up to millions. I couldn't afford that. Couldn't even imagine affording that. Then in January, Ethan got invited to perform at Carnegie Hall, a solo performance with the New York Chamber Orchestra for their Young Artists Showcase. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. But his violin wasn't good enough, not for Carnegie Hall. Not for that level of performance. I contacted the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. They have a collection of rare instruments, sometimes loan them to promising young musicians for important performances. I filled out applications, provided Ethan's performance history, letters of recommendation from his teachers, video of his playing, proof of the Carnegie Hall invitation. 2 weeks later, we got a call. "We'd like to loan Ethan the 1742 Carlo Bergonzi. It's one of our finest violins, worth approximately $120,000. He can use it for his Carnegie Hall performance and any related rehearsals. Loan period, 6 months, ending July 31st. There were conditions, extensive conditions, insurance requirements, security requirements, storage requirements, a legal contract 20 pages long. I had to sign personally, guarantee the violin's safety, promise to return it in perfect condition, agree to pay full replacement value if anything happened to it. I signed. What choice did I have? This was Ethan's future, his dream. I'd figure out the insurance, figure out the security, keep it safe for 6 months, then return it before the museum's August gala, where it would be displayed. The violin arrived in February, in a special case, with humidity controls, temperature sensors, a GPS tracking device embedded in the case. Museum security delivered it personally, took photos of every inch, documented every tiny scratch and imperfection, made me sign that I'd received it in perfect condition. Ethan played it for the first time and cried. "Mom, this is the most beautiful sound I've ever made. This violin is incredible." Then take care of it like your life depends on it, because our financial lives literally do depend on it. For 4 months, everything was perfect. Ethan practiced, improved, prepared for Carnegie Hall. The violin stayed in his room in the special case. He never left it unattended, never let anyone touch it, until my sister Vanessa came over. Vanessa is my younger sister. She's 34, engaged to a guy named Derek. They'd been planning a wedding for a year, but they kept having money problems. Derek's a freelance web designer, income's inconsistent. Vanessa works retail. They'd set a budget of $30,000 for the wedding, but costs kept climbing. Venue deposits, catering, dress, flowers, photography. By June, they were at $45,000 spent, with another $50,000 still needed. Vanessa kept asking me for money. Can you loan me $5,000 for the photographer? Can you help with the catering deposit? I kept saying no. I'm a single mom. I don't have money to fund her wedding. I have a son to raise, a future to secure. She got resentful. You always have money for Ethan's music stuff, lessons and competitions and travel, but you can't help your sister have one nice day? Ethan's music is his future, his career. Your wedding is one day. Figure it out within your budget. She stopped talking to me for about a month. Then suddenly she was friendly again, called me, asked to come over. I want to apologize. I was being selfish. Can I see Ethan? Hear him play? I miss you guys. I should have known better. Should have been suspicious. But I wanted to believe my sister had grown up, had perspective. She came over on a Tuesday, June 18th. I was at work. Ethan was home. School was out for summer. She asked to see the violin. Ethan, being a trusting kid, showed her, explained it was on loan from a museum, showed her the case, the documentation, the insurance papers. She asked to take photos. For Instagram. I want to show people my nephew's amazing. Is that okay? Ethan said yes. He went to the bathroom. When he came back 2 minutes later, Vanessa was gone, and so was the violin. He called me immediately, panicking. I left work, rushed home, called Vanessa. No answer. Called Derek. No answer. Drove to their apartment. No one home. Then I got her text. Sold the violin, got $95,000, finally have enough for the wedding. Thanks for the loan, I called her. She answered this time. Vanessa, what did you do? I sold your violin to a collector, got $95,000. I know you wanted $120,000 for it, but $95,000 is still good, right? Now Derek and I can have our dream wedding. That wasn't my violin to sell. It's not even my violin at all. It's on loan from the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. I have to return it in 6 weeks. You just stole a museum's property and sold it. Silence. Then, what? The violin belongs to a museum. It's worth $120,000. I have a legal contract to return it. You stole it, sold it, committed grand larceny, and now I'm legally responsible for its return, or I owe the museum $120,000. I didn't know. You didn't ask. You just took it. Who did you sell it to? A collector. I found him online. He paid cash, well, a cashier's check, for $95,000. I need his name, his information. We need to get it back. I can't. He specifically said he wanted anonymity. No names, no records, just the violin and the money. Vanessa, you sold a stolen $120,000 violin to an anonymous buyer for cash, and you have no way to trace him? It wasn't stolen. I thought it was yours. It's not mine, and now you've put me in a situation where I either get it back or I'm financially destroyed. I called the police, reported the theft. They took a report but said without the buyer's information, there wasn't much they could do. They'd check pawn shops and online marketplaces. But a private collector? Who paid cash? Nearly impossible to trace. I called the museum, spoke to Dr. Patricia Reeves, the curator of their instrument collection. Ms. Donovan, I'm very sorry this happened, but the loan agreement is clear. You're responsible for the violin's security. If it's not returned by July 31st, you're liable for its full value, $120,000. I understand, but my sister stole it. This wasn't negligence, it was theft. Your sister had access to your home, to the violin. The loan agreement specifically states you're responsible for controlling access. Whether it was stolen by a stranger or a family member doesn't change your liability. I'm trying to get it back. You have 6 weeks. If the violin isn't returned, we'll expect payment in full. We have insurance, but our deductible is $50,000. We'd claim the insurance for $70,000 and pursue you for the remaining $50,000 plus the deductible, plus legal fees. I felt sick. Even if the museum's insurance paid part of it, I'd still owe more money than I'd make in a year. Money I didn't have, would never have. I hired a private investigator, used money from Ethan's college fund, gave them everything I had, the date of the sale, Vanessa's information, descriptions of the violin, the GPS tracker embedded in the case. "Wait," the investigator said. "There's a GPS tracker?" "Yes, in the case. The museum required it." "Is it still active?" I called the museum. Dr. Reeves checked. "Yes, it's active. Last ping was yesterday evening from an address in Newton, Massachusetts." The investigator and I drove to Newton, to an expensive neighborhood, large houses, gated properties. The GPS led us to a specific address, a mansion. We knocked. A man in his 60s answered, distinguished, wealthy-looking. "Can I help you?" "My name is Claire Donovan. I'm looking for a violin. A 1742 Carlo Bergonzi. GPS tracking shows it's in this house." His face changed, closed off. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Sir, this violin was stolen from my home, sold illegally. It belongs to the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. I have documentation. I have a GPS tracker showing it's here. I need it back." "I purchased a violin, legally, from a private seller. I have a bill of sale." "From who?" "I'm not required to disclose that." "The violin was stolen. If you purchase stolen property, that's a crime, even if you didn't know it was stolen." He stepped back, started closing the door. "If you have legal claims, have your lawyer contact mine." He shut the door, locked it. I contacted a lawyer, legal aid, explained the situation. She reviewed my contract with the museum, the police report, the GPS evidence. "This is complicated. The violin is technically the museum's property. You have a legal obligation to return it, but it's currently in the possession of someone who claims to have purchased it legally. We need to prove it was stolen property, that he knew or should have known it was stolen. Then we can get a court order for its return." "How long will that take?" "Weeks, maybe months. Depends on his lawyer, on the court schedule, on whether he fights it." "I have 6 weeks before the museum wants it back." "Then you need to move fast. File a civil claim. Motion for immediate return of stolen property. I can do it. But it'll cost money. Legal fees, court costs, maybe $10,000 total. Money I didn't have. But what choice did I have?" We filed. The man's lawyer responded immediately, claimed his client had purchased the violin in good faith, had paid $95,000, had a bill of sale from V. Matthews, Vanessa's name, had no reason to believe it was stolen. Our lawyer argued that a $120,000 violin being sold for $95,000 by a private individual with no provenance should have raised red flags, that any reasonable collector would verify ownership before purchasing such an expensive instrument, that the GPS tracker proved it was the museum's property. The judge ordered a hearing, set for July 28th, 3 days before my deadline to return the violin to the museum. Meanwhile, I confronted Vanessa at her apartment with the investigator as a witness. "You sold the violin to Marcus Henderson, a wealthy collector in Newton, for $95,000. Now he's claiming he bought it legally and won't return it. And I'm being sued by a museum for $120,000. This is your fault. I didn't know it was on loan. I thought it was yours. You didn't ask. You just took it. And now my son's future is destroyed. His Carnegie Hall performance is canceled. He can't perform without that violin, and I might lose my house paying the museum back. I'll give you the money. You spent it on wedding deposits. It's gone. You can't give it back. Derek stepped forward. We'll cancel the wedding. Get refunds. Give you whatever we can. Most wedding vendors don't give refunds. You'll get maybe $20,000 back. I need $120,000, or at least I need the violin back. What do you want us to do? Testify. At the hearing, tell the judge exactly what happened, that you stole the violin, sold it without authorization, that Henderson should have known it was stolen because no legitimate seller would let a $120,000 instrument go for $95,000 with no paperwork. Vanessa looked terrified. If I testify to theft, I could be charged criminally. You already committed theft. You already sold stolen property. The police already have a report. The only question is whether you help me get it back or whether you let me be destroyed financially while you face criminal charges anyway. She agreed to testify. July 28th. The hearing. In Suffolk County Court. Judge Morrison presiding. On one side, me, my lawyer, Vanessa as a witness, Dr. Reeves from the museum, Ethan. On the other side, Marcus Henderson, his expensive lawyer, his good faith purchaser defense. My lawyer went first, presented the loan agreement, proof that the violin belonged to the museum, GPS tracking showing it was in Henderson's possession, police report documenting the theft. Then she called Vanessa to testify. Ms. Matthews, did you take the violin from your sister's home? Yes. Did you have permission to take it? No, I thought it was hers. I thought I could borrow it and sell it. Did your sister tell you the violin belonged to a museum? No, but my nephew mentioned it when he showed it to me. I didn't really listen. I just saw an expensive violin and thought it could solve my money problems. Did you sell it to Marcus Henderson? Yes, I found him through a violin collector forum online. He agreed to meet me, pay cash, no questions asked. Henderson's lawyer objected. Your Honor, my client had no reason to believe the violin was stolen. He purchased it in good faith from an individual who presented herself as the owner. The judge looked at Henderson. Mr. Henderson, you're an experienced collector. You've purchased rare instruments before. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. And when you purchase an instrument worth $120,000, don't you typically verify provenance, ownership history, documentation? Usually, yes. But not this time? The seller said she needed quick cash, was willing to discount the price. I assumed she had financial difficulties. It's not uncommon for people to sell valuable items quickly when they need money. But you paid $95,000 for an instrument worth $120,000 from a seller with no paperwork, no authentication documents, no history. Didn't that seem suspicious? I inspected the violin. It was authentic, a genuine Bergonzi. That's what I cared about. But you didn't ask where she got it? How she acquired a $120,000 violin? I assumed it was inherited, or a gift. People don't always have paperwork for inherited items. My lawyer stood up. Your Honor, Mr. Henderson is a sophisticated collector. He knew or should have known that a $120,000 violin being sold for $95,000 by a woman with no documentation was suspicious. Any reasonable person would have asked questions, verified ownership. He chose not to because he wanted the violin at a discount. The judge reviewed the evidence, the GPS tracking, the loan agreement, Vanessa's testimony, the police report. I'm ruling in favor of Ms. Donovan. The violin is stolen property. It belongs to the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. Mr. Henderson must return it immediately. His remedy is to pursue Ms. Matthews for the $95,000 he paid her, but he cannot keep stolen property. Henderson's lawyer tried to object. The judge shut him down. The violin will be returned to Ms. Donovan today, so she can return it to the museum tomorrow. This hearing is concluded. Henderson's lawyer handed over the violin that afternoon, under protest, but legally required. I brought it to Dr. Reeves the next morning, July 29th, 2 days early. She inspected it carefully, documented every inch. "It's in perfect condition. Thank you for recovering it, Ms. Donovan. I know this was difficult." "What happens to my son? His Carnegie Hall performance?" "When is it scheduled?" "August 15th. We can extend the loan through the end of August. He can use it for the performance, then return it for our September gala instead of the August one." I almost cried. "Thank you. Thank you so much." "Your son is talented. This situation wasn't his fault. He deserves his opportunity." Ethan performed at Carnegie Hall on August 15th, playing the 1742 Bergonzi. He was magnificent, received a standing ovation. Afterward, 3 symphony orchestras approached him, offered positions. His future was secured. We returned the violin to the museum on August 30th. This time, I hand-delivered it, watched them lock it in their vault, signed the final paperwork releasing me from liability. As for Vanessa, Marcus Henderson sued her for the $95,000 plus legal fees, plus damages. Total claim, $150,000. She couldn't pay. Filed for bankruptcy. The wedding was canceled. Derek left her. She lost everything. She tried to apologize. "I didn't mean for this to happen. I just wanted a nice wedding." "You stole a $120,000 violin from your nephew, sold it to fund a party, nearly destroyed his future and my financial life. Intent doesn't matter. Actions do." "Are you ever going to forgive me?" "I don't know. Maybe someday. But not today. Not this year. Maybe not ever." She moved back in with our parents, got a second job to pay off the bankruptcy, is still paying, will be paying for years. Our parents tried to mediate. "She's your sister. She made a mistake. She committed grand larceny. She stole museum property. She sold stolen goods. That's not a mistake. That's multiple crimes." "But family? Family doesn't steal from family. Family doesn't jeopardize a child's future for a wedding. She's your daughter, but she's not someone I can trust. And until she understands the magnitude of what she did, we have nothing to talk about." 1 year has passed. Ethan is 17 now, graduated high school early, starting at Juilliard in the fall, has a full scholarship, has a contract with the Boston Symphony Orchestra for after graduation. His future is bright, secure, everything I'd hoped for. The Carnegie Hall performance opened doors we couldn't have imagined. Reviews called him the next great American violinist. Offers came from recording companies, from chamber orchestras, from music festivals, all because he had the chance to play that Bergonzi at Carnegie Hall, all because we got it back in time. Vanessa sent a letter last month, handwritten, 3 pages, apologizing again, explaining she's been in therapy, working on her impulsivity, her selfishness, her inability to think about consequences. "I know I nearly destroyed Ethan's future. I know I put you through hell. I know I deserve your anger. But I want you to know I'm working on myself, trying to be better, trying to understand why I thought stealing was acceptable if it solved my problems. I hope someday you can forgive me, but I understand if you never do." I haven't responded. Don't know if I will. Some betrayals are too deep, some damages too severe, some relationships too broken to repair. But I keep the letter. Maybe someday I'll be ready to respond, to consider forgiveness, to rebuild something. But not today. Today, I'm focused on Ethan, on his future, on the opportunities that almost got stolen along with that violin, on the life he's building, on the career he's creating, on the music he's making. The 1742 Bergonzi is back in the museum, displayed in their instrument gallery. We visited it last month. Ethan stood in front of the display case, looked at the violin he'd played at Carnegie Hall. "That instrument changed my life," he said. "You changed your life. You worked hard, practiced, prepared. The violin was just a tool. But it was the right tool at the right time, because you fought for it. You got it back when Aunt Vanessa stole it. You saved my Carnegie Hall performance. You saved my future." I did what any mother would do, protected her child, fought for what was right, made sure you had your chance. We stood there, looking at the violin, remembering the chaos, the theft, the legal battle, the recovery, the performance, the triumph. And I realized something. Vanessa didn't steal just a violin. She tried to steal Ethan's future, his dreams, his opportunity. And I got it all back. Not just the instrument, but everything it represented. The violin is back where it belongs. Ethan's future is secure. And I'm at peace knowing that when it mattered most, I fought and won. Some things are worth $120,000. Some things are worth fighting for. Some things, like a child's future, are priceless. And I'd do it all again, every phone call, every legal motion, every confrontation, every sleepless night. To protect what mattered most. My son, his dreams, his future, his music. That's worth more than any violin, any amount of money, any family relationship. And I'll never apologize for putting him first. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support truly means the world to me. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. I love reading every single one of them. Each comment inspires me to keep creating stories for you. See you next time.